Welcome, freelancers, to our Anthem show. Joining me today is Datto, our special guest,
Hello.
and Eric's, whose name I learned how to say. It's been a fun week of practicing saying his name.
Hey,
Thanks
how's it
for
going?
coming back. It's going great. We've been playing Anthem all week. I'm incredibly excited to talk with you guys about the demo, a little bit of the controversy surrounding it, some of the fixes that we feel like need to be addressed right away, and our biggest overall pieces of feedback. And yeah, let's get right into it. We're doing this live. We're doing it live, everybody. So after the show, we're going to be hanging out and just speaking with chat and seeing if you have any questions that you would like to follow up on briefly. If you want to leave those questions, head on over to twitch.tv/the Destin channel, and I'll be looking there for your responses. So let's get right into it now that we've all had time with all the javelins. So this is the main question that we had last week. We all picked sort of the javelins that we were going to start with. I'm sure you've had time to sort of experience all of them. Have you changed your answer, or are you feeling that one is more overpowered than the others? We'll start with you, Eric's.
I am still Colossus Gang to this day because,
Really?
because you know what? So in fact, I played them all, and I've shuffled around my order in which I like them. But Colossus is still top because it just feels. I think of all of them, it just feels super satisfying. Yes, it might not be as mobile in the sky, but like running around with that flamethrower lightning coil combo, and I am destroying everything, and it never gets old. Never gets old. So yeah, definitely still Colossus Gang.
So you feel he's tanky. What's your main combo now that you've been messing around with in the demo?
So main combo, it's the one I did the video on the other day. So it's got lightning coil, which is the only ability you can use with your shield up. And that's the automated one, which like zaps things. And then you've got flamethrower. So you literally walk forward, and it's great in the stronghold because when the boss runs away and the enemies come out, and you literally hold your flamethrower, and it goes combo. And obviously the combo effect with the Colossus means it explodes in AoE damage. So it just goes boom, 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 and everything's dead. It's like the ultimate trash mob clearer. So, and it's just so satisfying because it's basically like the summary of it's like the best example of gameplay, kind of how the combo system works. It's just it is so good.
That's really cool.
And it happens so instantaneously too, because it's just like wave of fire, and then the arc cannon is just automatically going off. So you're basically instantly comboing. Yeah.
It's so good.
That sounds pretty awesome. I played, but I never got the coil, so I never got to experience that. At least not with the VIP demo. Are you talking the VIP demo or at an event?
No, I've got it set up in this demo right now. I use it in an event as well, but this demo is now. I've got my red and black Colossus with like the nice color scheme. It's perfect.
That sounds really, really freaking cool. I'm gonna have to try that out. I did unlock the Colossus on the PC, and I'm like, he feels a little bit squishy, but with a setup like that, I could see his versatility and need for team DPS. What about you, Datto? What's been your favorite?
I've been playing Storm. Storm is just so good. Storm is what I picked up for the VIP demo. I did really like Interceptor when I was playing San Francisco at a capture event, just because like it felt like it was very, very good for burst damage, and those elite Scar Hunters are brutal, and so being able to get rid of them like really, really fast, or at least get rid of their shield so that other people can freeze and burn them and all that kind of stuff, super handy. So yeah, I have not been feeling the Colossus outside of that particular build. Like I used the Colossus in San Fran and when I went to Sweden, and it just felt like if I was not in danger, then I could be any other Javelin class and be doing the same thing. And if I was in danger, I was just getting shredded with no way to really like do a whole lot about it.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing about the Storm then?
Just the fact that you get an aerial view of the entire the entire zone all the time. It's like you control the battlefield essentially. Very good support abilities. Like the wind wall is pretty good, at least against anything that isn't a Scar Hunter that can just immediately kill it. The quickening field, I think is the other one.
Oh yeah.
Good for ability cooldown reduction and all that. But just ice and freeze effects are so good compared to all of the other elements. It's like not even close. It is not even close to how good it is. and it's just very, very potent. Ice with a lightning combo. I feel like a lot of people aren't running a lot of lightning. So being able to lightning burst off a bunch of shields and then freeze them immediately and have your teammates combo off of that, like what more do you want?
A Colossus.
So surprisingly, I didn't think I'd be saying this, but I've been having a lot of fun with the starter class, the Ranger, because of some of the stuff that you guys have talked about, like being able to have that freeze grenade and just freeze a big group of enemies and have your teams help with DPS. You can also build up your own self combo builds, like you can have the frag grenade and the I think it's the blast cannon. I can't remember, but you can just make your own self combos with the Ranger builds, and I really, really like that. He can also play distance with that sniper rifle. I believe it's the Devastator, right? The charge up explosive tip.
So
Ooh,
good.
that one is super rewarding.
That's what I was using as a storm as well, because you're just so far away. It does so much damage.
It's ridiculous. I think it's like 9,000 on crits or something against.
Did you try it? If you use it in the final boss and you've got a power level 19 one and you use muster point on the Ranger, you can hit for 13k on one of the weak points. It's like, what?
Oh, I was hitting for like 14.7 or 14.9.
Really?
Yeah, with something else. I think someone was using like Battle Cry. Doesn't that reduce or increase damage taken or something like that? Yeah, I was hitting for 14,000. I was like, oh my, this is hitting for more than my ultimate.
So
it's
hopefully everybody in chat has managed to unlock the Devastator sniper rifle, because it is a lot of fun. I like the Ranger because you can sort of play it at a distance, and you can be a support class or you can be right there in the thick of it, and it allows you a lot of versatility as a player. I played on all platforms. The way I unlocked all the Javelins is I played on PlayStation 4 standard, which was a little rough, but I got through it, and I did Interceptor there, and then Colossus on PC and Storm on Xbox, who I got the least amount of time with, so I'm probably going to have to hop in today and mess around a little bit more. Let's talk about each of the Javelins, because I'm kind of wondering, now that we've gotten a little bit of time with all the different classes and in a more relaxed setting in our houses or whatever, are there any that you're feeling need to be tweaked or are not really resonating with you and you feel like they need to be adjusted? I can start with an example. I feel like the Interceptor is cool, it's sleek, but basically you're spamming melee. You're like in the thick of it, just tapping triangle, because I unlocked that one on PlayStation for the entirety of the battle, and I feel like it can get a little dull. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, or feel that there's another class that felt sort of underwhelming.
So I think I agree with you for Interceptor, because like I really like Interceptor. I think Interceptor is probably the best showcase and the best like feel good when it comes to like movement, just because obviously when you're flying through the sky, dashing around, everything like that. But I agree with you, because like when you use the melee, the one thing that I find is a little bit annoying is that some enemies, the standard melee when you're on the ground doesn't really give you a great deal of feedback. Like if you do the one where you jump from the sky and you spin down, that feels cool. If you do like a hammer kick with Tempest Strike, that feels great. But the general, when you're chaining it again and again and again, you get to this point where you like almost don't have that hit lag or that kind of feedback, so you just feel like you're slicing through paper. So that's I can get what you mean, which is probably why when I play Interceptor, I tend to sort of go in and just melee like a few things, jump out and do something else, and try to keep like jump attacking. So I definitely see what you mean on that one. I think for me, like one thing that might need to be like addressed slightly is probably the Colossus shield, because for Colossus, obviously the way when you play, if you physically don't have a shield bar until you bring your shield up. Yeah. So obviously when you bring that up, you, apart from lightning coil, you can't use anything. So you just have to stand there and take your damage. Now, if you're fighting something really heavy, that shield gets destroyed super quickly. So for a class that's supposed to be the tank, and the fact that you can't fire from behind your shield, then I feel like the shield goes down quite fast. So maybe it's just a play style. Maybe it's one of those things where you kind of just like, you bring it up the last minute, block a couple of things, put your shield away, and then fire out. So maybe I just need to like balance out the way you play it, but I think that does go quite fast. So maybe that's something.
I totally hear you. And like on hard mode, you take one sniper shot, your shield's basically done. So you're kind of just left really, really vulnerable as a Colossus, who I do like and I enjoy as a Javelin to play as, but he feels slow and not as. I want to be in the thick of it at all times, doing max DPS or protecting my team. And I feel like that's the fantasy of the Colossus, and I don't quite get that yet. But maybe it's because I'm playing it wrong. It could be all on me. Who knows?
I'm in the same exact way. Like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one messing up. But I totally feel like I'm the same way with Colossus. Like if you're, God forbid, your shield goes down while you're still holding it, and you have to go into like a 5-second animation of you stumbling over, and then by that time, every single Scar Hunter just annihilates you, or Scar Scout just snipes the crap out of you. Yeah. I wasn't feeling that power fantasy of the Colossus as much as I feel like I should have been. Like the power fantasy to me is absorbing a lot of damage, protecting my team, and then launching like some heavy artillery or like with the flamethrower thing, and really just like lay big chunks of damage on certain things. And my experience was get to low health for whatever reason because you got double sniped, and then stand in the back looking for health packs until you can go do something again. Like the flamethrower arc cannon combo, really, really good. Lightning cannon, super, super potent. But I want to see like other things also be good. It's not that other javelins don't have abilities that are kind of lackluster, because they totally do. But I think out of all of them, Colossus is the one that I'm worried about the most in terms of fulfilling that power fantasy.
Eric's looks really sad now.
No,
are you okay?
Nothing can take it away from me. You know what? Like, even though the shield is like a little bit weak sometimes, like nothing so far has given me the same like as much enjoyment as that combo. And I'm like, you know what? I will happily just walk through the rest of the game with that. And like, Colossus is my guy. Like, and second to that is Ranger. So yeah, no, I'm still cool with it. I definitely think there's a couple of things to be tweaked. But I mean, it is also the interesting. If you do put the shield away, it regens quite quickly. So I guess maybe it's one of those things where I just need to learn a slightly different play style. It's not kind of conventional tank. It's still like, So, but yeah.
I think they're just going to rely on gear a bit more than the other classes to really be good.
Probably.
There could be some shield components, maybe, like specifically for the Colossal Shield. Like maybe that's what we're missing. So
yeah, because when you're fighting those Grandmaster 3,000% additional damage and everything, that's going to be a really, really interesting battle to be facing. I think that's all the feedback I have for the Javelins. The other two classes feel pretty good. Storm feels excellent, and Ranger feels pretty good in a good spot to me. Interceptor, my main complaint is I wish they had a little bit more versatility besides just go punch stuff a whole bunch of times. They're the blade dancing badasses, yes, but I'm just like, I want a few more setup options with that class. But maybe that's how they intended them to be, just out there punching in the face.
I agree with the melee stuff as well. Like the melee is really good, but it's like there's basically no reason to use a gun on an interceptor. You just don't need to. Like if you play the class right, you're basically going to dash in, do a bunch of bursts with your abilities, finish off with melee because it just stun locks the crap out of enemies, and then get out. And that's what you do, which is fun, but you don't need a gun to do that.
Yeah.
Next piece of conversation that I would like to move towards is definitely this whole VIP demo. We'll call it a fiasco. It's been a really, really difficult time for BioWare and EA, and for largely all the people that pre-ordered the game or were excited to get into this VIP demo, and then they just hit that brick wall of a screen. BioWare has been very transparent. They're feeling your pain. They offered a what do they call it? A vinyl. As sort of a we're sorry for everybody that played in the alpha. But I'm wondering, do you think this is going to end up affecting sales or interest of the game in the long run? We'll start with you, Eric.
I mean, it's one of those things where like there's always two sides of it, right? I think a lot of people that have kind of been through these games before, like I fully didn't expect to get in the first few hours of the demo going live. Like I've kind of almost come to this point where like if a demo is going live, I'm just gonna like tune in a few hours later, right? So I think to people that are used to that will probably sort of like weather the storm. Yeah, they're super excited, and I get the frustration. I completely understand. Like people have pre-ordered. They're like, and some people obviously if they didn't have the flexibility, they've physically taken time off work. So I completely get that. There are some people, I had a few people tweeting me that were like, you know what, I couldn't even get in the demo. I've cancelled my pre-order. Like some people will say that. But I think like it's one of those things where even if you don't get a chance to play, like if you can kind of just take a step back for a moment from the annoyance and realize that, there's another demo opportunity next weekend. So hopefully if they didn't necessarily get the experience, maybe they can try again. And just also just from like seeing footage. I mean, some people maybe they didn't even get in the demo, but they're still watching videos anyway. So I think like ultimately, if you are looking forward to Anthem, like really looking forward to it, you've been following it for a long time. I don't think those people's minds are going to be swayed too much. If you're one of those people that was maybe on the fence and was like, I don't know, so I'm hoping the demo will sell me, and then you have this experience, maybe that might have pushed them away. So it's hard to say. But I like to think that like even though it's kind of it's often quite hard to see when you look on social media, it's quite that you get the sort of warts like vocal minority kind of thing. But it's I would hope most people can kind of understand that they're working their hardest. Like nobody wants this experience to be what people went through. And they've been transparent the whole time. They've been working their asses off. They're traveling around trying to do their best stuff. So yeah, I think I'd like to think most people are still hopeful.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful. I'm a little bit concerned. I hope that they're ready for like that February 15th, PC launch, and then they're gonna have the 10-hour launch on consoles also for early access members, and the full game comes out. Hopefully they're prepared by that point. I think it's a lot of perception. I have seen a lot of people say I've canceled my pre-order, or I'm not going to pre-order now, and I'm just going to wait to see the reviews and how it all pans out. I think that's a smart consumer decision to be making, and like that's how it's supposed to work. Honestly, you're supposed to let people like all of us, put our reviews out there, put our impressions out there, and then make your own purchasing decisions as a well-informed consumer. But it's a perception thing. This is called a VIP demo, and I even catch myself calling it a beta because the words have become almost interchangeable today. And if they would have called it a beta and not had it tied, or even if it was tied to our pre-order, I think it would have been more forgiving because people would have understood, hey, they're still working some stuff out. But this should have been a lot smoother because we're in day 3 now, the last day of it, and I've still seen people on day 2 experiencing connection problems and such. I do worry that perception is going to remain prevalent going into the actual sale window of the game. Hopefully, like they figure out some way to adjust that. Datto, are you worried at all about perception after this VIP demo?
I mean, you have to be worried all the time, right? People will take this VIP demo as this is the way the game is going to be all the time, forever. And some people have difficulty breaking away from that. Some people have difficulty following up on a first bad experience. Like we're all veterans, right? Like we kind of know like this is what happens sometimes, right? Demo or launches don't go smoothly every single time, right? Rise of Iron. Yeah. Everybody remember Rise of Iron, right? Although this was not as bad. Rise of Iron was not as bad. But yeah, are some people overreacting? Yeah, it's not like, BioWare wants this experience to be so cumbersome and obnoxious.
They've been so transparent, which has been absolutely excellent, by the way. Yeah, it's really refreshing to see them being like that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people just look at game developers as just people counting their money. And it's like, I know way too many developers now to be like, no, they're just like, they're literally just like us. Like they want to make the best thing possible. Yeah. So
we get that at IGN once or twice a year.
Yeah. So, some people are probably not too happy with it, but there's only so much you can do to tell them like, hey, just be patient, like things will get better. No. But at the same time, it's like if you're worried, then don't pre-order, right? Like I don't think anyone's gonna say like, no, keep it. Like if you're worried, just keep it anyway. Like let people like us dig through the game and find out if it's worth your time.
Yeah. Having spoken with them, sorry, go ahead, Eric.
No, go. No, I was going to say that I think the transparency thing we kind of touched on it like last week as well. I think that at least definitely helped them a little bit like weather the storm, because I think it goes back to the whole Division example as well. Back in Division 1 where they went through their troubles because they were so transparent and communicative all the time. Even though you go through hard times, I think people are slightly more understanding because they're constantly talking. Like they've been talking in the good times, they've been talking throughout the weekend. Like it's not like they suddenly went silent when the VIP demo. Like they were trying to give us as many updates as they could, even when things weren't going. So I feel like that level of transparency at least helps them weather the storm to a certain degree.
It softens the blow as a consumer.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Because at least that like at least you're getting something back in return of like what's going on, what's happening, and it's not just silence.
Definitely. totally agree. I think they're doing really well with the feedback loop with the community, and I hope they continue that. It's been really, really refreshing to see a developer being really human and just out there on Twitter, no restrictions about talking about anything except the stuff that they're playing close to the chest, like the story. And I'm not going to bring up Destiny. Never mind. It'd be refreshing if Bungie did that. I'm going to move on to did that more. They've been better this year, but anyway. So now that we've gotten a lot of hands-on time with the game, I'm curious what you guys think are your biggest pieces of feedback that you're hoping that the Anthem team hears across EA and BioWare, and what you think needs to be adjusted. Anything kind of goes here. I can start. Fix the swim controls. Fix keyboard and mouse controls, period. I think the mouse mapping is pretty smart for the time being, but what is swimming? What happened? How do you release that to the public and not think jump in a puddle? Eric, do you have anything?
So there's a funny thing on swimming, right? Because when you're going through the stronghold for the first time, like there's a voice line. I can't remember exactly what she says, but she basically says, "Oh, it's kind of dark down there. Throw a flare." So I threw a flare, and then I went in the water. It was nowhere to be seen. That flare didn't help me.
It's just an emote effect. It's not gonna do anything. Yeah.
I was gonna try it. I was like, "How far is that thing gonna travel?" But but still, the swimming one in the stronghold is always funny because, like, especially as a Colossus, I probably don't, but I feel like I drop in the water heavier than everyone else. And I drop in, I'm like, a good 5 minutes, like, okay, where am I? And then like, oh, the jellyfish is there, and then I start going. So yeah, there's swimming in general world is fine. Like in free play, when you dip in the water, it's generally pretty smooth. But the stronghold ones are a bit odd. I completely agree on the mouse and keyboard control. I mean, I play control pad, but like, a lot of my guys this weekend, they're default keyboard and mouse guys, and a lot of them switched to controller because they just weren't getting on with the keyboard and mouse controls.
Controller is perfect. Controller feels perfect
so
to me. It's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people that even if you are like diehard PC guys, I feel like because Anthem is like a PvE game, there's not the competitive aspect. I don't feel like there's as much to be gained by having the precision for aiming for like mouse and keyboard. So as a result, because you spend more time flying and using abilities, I think that you're actually better just leaning into controller. At least that's my personal opinion. But options. One with me was a super minor thing, but it's kind of a more sort of like an experience gripe. Is like, when you have objectives where you go around, you're having to pick up an item. Like if you do activities on repeat, you start like preemptively holding X. But then a lot of the time, if you do that or it doesn't kind of detect it, it starts swapping your weapons. Like weapon swap is super annoying. I would rather have like a double tap to swap, because if I'm in the middle of a fight and my guns run out and I have to hold it for a second to be like swap, I'd rather just be like double tap. So that was kind of annoying.
Totally get that. On that note, sort of with the delay thing, I noticed like if you have your shield out or you're in an animation, you can't really cancel any of your animations, so you're kind of locked into that until it fully completes, and then you're able to move to another one, sort of like with weapon swapping, basically. And then, well, actually, before I do another one, I'll let Datto go ahead and give some of his feedback.
Yeah, no, just like response time in general, like sometimes it doesn't feel snappy, right? It feels sluggish sometimes, like with weapon swapping. Like I'll think I'll weapon swap, but I won't actually do it. Long animations for a lot of things, like when you get knocked out of the air from being overheated. It's just like you're coming down like a comet to Earth, just crash and burn. And it takes so long to get out of some of these animations sometimes. I think they could bump up reload speeds, like some reload.
Oh my God.
Reload while sprinting. Please, reload while sprinting.
Yeah.
Put that in the game, or bump up reload speed, or decrease reload speeds. No, increase reload speeds. Whatever. Make them go faster is what I'm trying to say. Make reloads go faster and do it while sprinting. Make the other elements a little bit better to compete with freezing, because freezing's really good, and I tried other builds, lightning, fire, nothing competes to being able to freeze an enemy for 5 to 10 seconds, shutting down their damage. Because some of these enemies are, well, I will say about the AI, it's either a brain dead or John Wick is killing you. There's almost no in between. There's no in between. So being able to freeze those enemies, just completely paralyzing them, is so much better than literally everything else. So I'd like to see the other elements get a slight bump.
Yeah.
That's all smorgasbord of things.
Sort of on your note, The flinch and stun lock stuff is a little bit ridiculous in some of the battles. Like, you get hit once, then you just get stuck in this loop of being stun locked until you're dead. And then when you're dead, you literally can't do anything. You can't switch perspectives. You're just kind of locked there staring at a giant red orb. And you're like, well, this isn't very fun. And I think like in Destiny, they allow you to switch perspectives and see what the other players are doing. Maybe like, hey, you're near the rock. I'm over here. I'll let you know when I'm safe. All right, I'm good to be rezzed. And we kind of have that communication now, but just something else needs to be happening on those no respawn zones.
Yep.
How did you guys feel about the stun lock? Because I really hate, like, if you're flying and you bump something, you have to fall until you hit the ground. You can't correct. You can't throw on your hover or anything. You just fall, and sometimes you fall very far, and you can't.
You
do
can
anything
actually
about
get out of it.
How do you do it?
If when you're falling, if you click in the left stick as if you were going to commence flight, it will stop the flight, and then you can do like a jump. You can't hover, but you can use a jump to basically cancel it, and then you just fall. Instead of falling in the trajectory you were going, you instead just like do a jump fall. So it seems to work most of the time when I'm doing that. So I've been using that to kind of sort of cancel out of that.
Yeah. I think, like, if you're not overheated, you don't need to make me fall 9,000 feet, in order before I'm allowed to turn on my boosters again. Like, okay, you hit a rock, let me hover, and then course correct. What else did I have here? Yeah, Colossus. We talked about that earlier. A lot of people would like to allow perspective change shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yep. That'd be fun.
Oh, you mean first person versus third? Is that what you're thinking, Eric's?
No, sorry. I thought you were still talking about the death thing, like perspective, like swapping to see different perspectives. I mean, like, on the death screen. No. With regards to shoulder shot, I mean, I've seen that one. I haven't personally myself. I mean, that's just me. I haven't personally encountered a situation where I was like, I wish I could look over my other shoulder. But I can see why people would want it.
Yeah, some people just like having their guy on the opposite side of the screen.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's.
But
more
I
of
imagine
a small thing. Yeah,
it sounds like a small thing, but I imagine they would have to like do a bunch of extra animations for the other side. Like that's something that a lot of people don't think about. Is just like, okay, just be able to swap my shoulder. Okay, but now we need to change every single gun animation that you do to do the opposite thing. So now we need to go in and make a whole bunch more animations.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I had one more on here. Turn off motion blur by default. Turn off motion blur by default, because it's the first thing I do in every version of the game. I'm not a big motion blur fan.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. It's like a stylistic choice, but yeah, I don't like it in most products.
I don't mind it that much, but my audience when I was streaming was like, "Oh my god, turn it off!" And I was like, "Okay." I turn it off, but then apparently that doesn't even work. You need to go into another setting and turn that to low, and then motion blur will actually be turned off.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I forget what the setting is, but I can look it up later.
I think also something else just to throw in there as well, just like complete not a motion blur, because since we were talking about like feedback and stuff, like I've seen it for quite a lot of people. I guess something sort of worth raising, because we played a slightly more recent build at the capture events. But for anyone wondering about like seeing your team's health in activities, that is actually in game. So like obviously it's kind of annoying in the stronghold, because if you die and then you can't see anyone, if you don't see that red orb, you're like, oh well, and then you're sitting there for 20 minutes if you're playing with randoms. So in the actual version that we played this week, there is actually on-screen health, so you can see them, so you can actually know if your team's gone down. So rest assured, that's there.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing.
How do you guys feel about the overall UI and stuff like that of the product as it stands in the VIP demo? Is it cluttered? Is it good on PC? Because I have seen some feedback where people are like, oh, you need to clean this up. But I felt fairly comfortable now that I understand how everything works. So I was wondering if you guys felt differently.
There were a couple learning woes. I feel like there's extra clicks that most of the time you don't feel like need to happen. Like when you bring up the options menu, you're like video, and then it'll give you like a sub menu, and then you'll like hover over something, and you're like, oh, and then you see all the options pop up, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna mouse over, and then you click on stuff, and then it doesn't work. And you're like, why? But I need to click on this sub menu again to open up this other menu, so then I can go click on it. Like I had that problem when I first started playing. Like almost ever, I wanted to change my sound settings to like be a little bit lesser volume, and just like looking at stuff, I'm like, why? Like I can't change any of this, and he just like clicked on the thing, and I kind of felt dumb, but at the same time, I was like, no, that one's on you. I feel like, Yeah, it takes a little getting used to. But I couldn't name anything specifically that they're like that's like, get that out of there, like clean that up. But it just takes a little bit to learn.
Yeah. Anything for
Yeah.
your ex?
I think for the most part, I mean, I guess I'm in that fortunate position because I've been playing the build quite a bit. I've become quite familiar with the UI. So I was playing with some friends this weekend who like it was their first time, and a couple of them were like, "Where are you? Where do I go in the UI? Like, or how do I do this?" So I guess maybe there were some parts that weren't necessarily completely into. I think one thing that like again, you kind of because I'm used to it, I know where it is. But a lot of people initially when coloring their javelins, they didn't realize because that whole bar, like you select the material and then you select the color.
Yes.
Together it looks like it's one thing. So a lot of people are like, how did you select red? Because obviously you select the material and then it just defaults to a color, and you don't realize that you can like if you tab right, you don't really see it in the UI that you've tabbed. So you're like, So I think maybe just the color section could do with like a very obvious like just put like a little split between it, but like material, color, so it's just not blurred, and then maybe that would help. But
I've definitely realized that I am not a designer and I cannot make a good color combination to save my life. Everything looked terrible. I'm like, let's try some blue. Oh no, that does not look good. Not at all.
It's the opposite side of the spectrum from Destiny, where it's like, I want to make my own thing, and then you have all this freedom, and you're like,
Reddit,
I don't know how to make things.
How do I paint?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
You just default to the same black, white color, every single thing.
Overall, wrapping up the show segment before we go to live questions, guys. What did you think about the game in a positive light? What was the most positive thing that you had from your experience, either at the showcase or during this VIP demo? I've had a lot of fun playing with friends. I haven't felt fatigue like I was worried that I would. I don't really want to run Tyrant Mine again, but it's kind of like the only way to get loot right now, and I've kind of would like to hop into those story missions with my crew as opposed to having the solo queue. I wasn't able to bring in a group into what's it called, quick play, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, were you guys able to do that? Like replay the story missions?
I didn't actually try. I kind of just did all the story missions, and then I did the other stuff. But I'm pretty sure. No, I played a story mission with one of my friends.
So
after
you
completed them?
No, so you can't.
Oh,
replay...
after that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't replay a story mission if you've completed it. But if a friend in your party hasn't done it, you can do their story mission.
Yes.
So but if you've all cleared it, then your map is just now Tyrant Mine and free play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much critical about the matchmaking stuff, only because it's been so rough this weekend, and I don't feel like I got a good indication of it. But it is a little bit worrisome, like sort of this like, hey guys, were you able to do this thing? And you're like, I don't know, because it's been a little convoluted. So mostly a lot of people are just rerunning Tyrant Mine. But to be positive, what was your favorite part of the game during this VIP demo experience or during the event that we had like a few days earlier? Start with you, Erics.
So for me, it's still like I feel like kind of a broken record. For me, honestly, it's still the moment to moment gameplay. Like I just like I've played through like the same content probably like 5-6 times at different events now, and I still am not bored of that. Like just jumping up, flying with your javelin, flipping through the sky, using your abilities, like pulling off your ultimate, just all that kind of gameplay. Even though like yes, admittedly, some of the enemies like you've either got like the kind of not very bright ones or you got the crazy ones, but like even just shooting some of the minus enemies, it just feels good to play. Like, and I think we've had that with all my friends. Like we've been sitting there playing together. We're all flying through the sky, flipping through, like skimming the water, just the movement and the fly around it. It just feels really, really good. So it's definitely a game where like, from a gameplay point of view, it is like spot on for me. And I'm just like, I will, provided there's stuff for me to play, provided there's stuff for me to dive into, I can see myself sinking hours and hours into this. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun just literally just playing.
Yeah, it's been good. Datto?
Yeah, no, I also like the moment to moment gameplay, like when it's working and it's not, clunking out on you or anything. It's fun to combo with your teammates and trying to set them up, right? Like I can't tell you how many times like, all right, I'm freezing, priming this guy, all right, you go in and you burst down this thing. And just coordinating with your team. Like all that's really fun, trying to figure out the best ways to tackle certain situations and then making plays of your own. Yeah, I do enjoy that moment gameplay. I think the gunplay could use a slight, just anything to make it a little more. I don't even know what the word is. It just like it doesn't feel like it's fully there. because abilities are so strong that, at least as a Storm, most of the time I'm just trying to like survey the area and see like, all right, what can I freeze for my team instead of like actively shooting a gun. But yeah, I like primer detonator combo effects and common with your team and all that. It's pretty fun trying to see how much you can maximize your damage or your effects and all that.
Min-maxing is like one of the best part of games like this, especially you crunching numbers, Datto. You got to love that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, this fulfills the min-max fantasy a bit more than Destiny is able to pull that off. So that is something I'm also kind of excited about.
One thing we didn't really discuss is the storytelling. We got a little bit of a peek at the storytelling here and at the event, and I have to say I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm excited to experience the whole campaign, and while I can't talk about specifics from the event, I think that the mission in the VIP demo was definitely compelling enough that I was interested in the characters, concerned about their well-being, and interested to learn more about the side characters that we sort of meet in Fort Tarsis and such. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm hoping that they continue to live up to their BioWare legacy of excellent storytelling. Do you guys have any final things that you want to discuss? Or do you think? I think that we've kind of wrapped up everything for this episode.
Yeah, I think we hit a lot of things.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just ask. I think people know who you guys are, but just in case, Eric, where can people find you?
Predominantly on YouTube, so youtube.com/ArixG. Cover various different games, but of course Anthem is the big one right now, and also on Twitter, twitter.com/Arix.
Datto.
YouTube.com. Datto does Destiny. That's me, and I'm just Datto, Datto on Twitch.
And if you just type in Destin, IGN, or you're watching on all my platforms, so you know where to find me. You're good. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. So
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're gonna outro the show portion. We're gonna come right back to answer your questions live. If you're on twitch.tv/the Destin channel, go ahead and hit @the Destin channel and leave your questions in there. We'll answer them live. If you're listening to this, you can watch it live Sundays at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Thank you guys for joining me. And until next time, freelancers, it's time to get back to work. Bye. All right, everybody, that was the main show. Thanks for sticking around if you're still there over at twitch.tv/the Destin channel. Not too many questions, and I forgot that there was a stream delay, so maybe I kicked it over here a little bit too soon. But we got one from Lost. He said, any raids confirmed for the release or something similar? Have you guys heard anything? I'm actually not sure on that one.
I'm going to guess that's a Destiny person, and I don't think they have really talked about having an activity on the scale that Destiny does raids, but Eric's, you might know more.
No, they haven't. So I think they I think it's either Ben Irving addressed it in one of the streams who was saying in fact it was when John Warner was there as well. They were talking that they do have planned like aspirational content that would kind of sort of like fit in that scope. They specifically aren't using the term raids, and I think they've listed at the moment like most of their activities are 4-man, but they did say they want to have like they will be having aspirational content, but my understanding is that stuff will come after launch, so we don't know much about it, but a launch definitely won't be having like quote unquote raids.
They're also not using the term clans, but they kind of have clans in the game.
It's alliances or something like that.
They're calling it something different. I think it's because they don't want to set expectations to like what a full clan would be, maybe, or something. I don't know. I saw a good one up here. Questions are coming in now. We got one from Dark Lost. Do you know if they plan on adding text chat? For the love of God, I hope they do.
Especially I hope PC. So. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't take them several months to do it.
Right?
Cough, cough, wink, wink. Text chat would be nice. That would be really nice.
That would have been mighty handy because today I was out in the world and we had like 3 of us were playing and we were waiting for the, if you wait long enough, the cinematic camera starts.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
trying to take
Super
a really
cool.
nice screenshot and then someone match made in with us and was jumping around throwing items on us. I was like, can you please just, I want to type, can you please just wait? We're just trying to take a screenshot. And I had to wait for him to just get bored and run away so I could take my photos. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, bro, stop. What else do we got here? Opinions on no boss loot from Lost again. I would like the whole loot system in general. That's actually a good question. How do you guys feel about it? Datto will go first.
Well, first of all, there technically is boss loot. It just doesn't pop out of the boss, which I agree is not fun. If I kill the boss, loot, explosion, or a chest somewhere, put it somewhere. Yeah, I mean, you can get items from anything. Like I was getting rares from just stuff on the ground that I happened to kill. It wasn't that common. One would say it was rare. But I mean, I think a lot of people had concerns about, I don't even see what item I get until the very end, and like I don't get to see what my loot is as I'm getting it and all that kind of stuff. And I partly sympathize with that. I totally understand. Like it's exciting when you just have a drop pop up and you see what it is. Like, I got this thing. But I don't mind it too much because you can't swap your gear in the middle of a mission, right? And if you do want to do that, you have to go all the way back. You have to leave the thing. You go all the way back, come back in. Do all that. It's very, very cumbersome. It's not designed to be like done like that. Plus, at the very end of the mission, your entire team gets to engage in this like loot parade of like, what did you get? Oh, well, I got this thing, and like, but your thing's so cool, and like that's the experience I imagine they were sort of going for with that, as opposed to having loot popping up, because you get a lot of items during this, and I feel like it would be maybe overwhelming at times to just constantly be getting stuff and like trying to look at it, and the UI just doesn't support something like that.
Yeah, and I definitely agree, because I mean I was sympathized as well, because I was one of the sort of people before that kind of thought it would be quite nice to, like, initially I was thinking, it would be quite nice to kind of know what you got when you're out, but having now played it a lot more recently, it's actually quite nice because you just get more excited about the type. So for example, we're playing the VIP demo, so rare is as high as it goes. So every time I open a chest and rare stuff drops out, I'm like quite excited. I'm just counting the number of rares I've got. So I agree that it is quite nice when you get to the end and you just have that, like, I definitely do want there to be like a chest in the boss room, because the fact that, like, take the Tyrant Mine, for example, there's 2 chests. And getting loot from those is more exciting than from the boss, because obviously the boss, when it's defeated, you just don't see anything. So, but yeah, I agree. The whole like post rewards kind of conversation you have with your friends is actually quite fun. So I don't mind now so much. And maybe they also did it from a griefing point of view, because maybe it was like if you match made with someone and they got what they wanted, they were like, "Well, I'm out, peace." And you're like, thanks. So so I'm actually, to be fair, I'm actually quite okay with the loot system.
I would like to see what I got, so like I can get really, really excited about it. And Destiny does that. They actually show what you got and what everybody gets, right? In games, like so-and-so found this. I like that aspect of it. I don't think they're going to run into people bouncing out of missions. That doesn't happen too often in Destiny.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, especially with the way they have it constructed, where like you're running with your crew, and like if somebody bounces, you'll just matchmake with somebody else. So they do have it set up to prevent that sort of thing. Got one here from Terror Clash. How different does each Javelin feel?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different. Every single Javelin plays very differently from each. I answered first last time. You go first.
Yeah. Eric's?
No, it's just the same thing. Like they feel different. They all fly differently. They while they do technically, for anyone that were like just from a competitive standpoint, they do fly at the same speed. They do move at the same speed. So anyone that's like, I can't keep up with my Colossus, no, that's just you. But but no, they fly very differently. They behave differently. They feel like you can feel the weight of the Colossus, for example, versus the speed, the agility, the Inceptor. So they are different. It's not just like 4 different shapes, but they all play the same. They are very different.
Yeah, definitely. They feel like totally different machines across the board. Justin, good to see you. Jacob, how much longevity will the end game have, do you feel, from your guys' information? based on like the
$1 million
Grandmaster.
question.
Yeah, that's what will make or break Anthem, truthfully. And if they have continued support, then the game's going to thrive. And if the end game is compelling, then the game's going to thrive. If it's not there, then this is a 2-week game. You know, for content creators like us, we're gonna burn through it. We're gonna make our videos about the best builds and whatever type of content we're gonna make, and then that'll kind of be it. But if the end game is compelling, then you run into a Destiny scenario where you're coming back every week to talk about the new stuff. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think we don't like, you know, we
said it very well.
No, exactly. I mean, there's still a lot we don't necessarily know, right? Because I mean, that is still one of those things. It's difficult with these kind of games, right? Because a lot of like that's the stuff that we ultimately want to know because that's what keeps us playing. But that's the stuff that ultimately you don't necessarily get to find out before the game comes out because they kind of have to keep some stuff there, right? So you know, a lot of the stuff that we've still played at events is early game. So I still don't really know exactly what I'll be doing. But I agree with you. Like it is a game that is like it's super fun to play. So if there is content to play, I will sink hundreds, thousands of hours into it. If it runs short, then you know, I mean, I think Professor Broman put out a kind of a perfect tweet on this the other day. He's like, you know, if it comes out and it's got great end game, I'll sink a ton of time into it. If not, I think it'll be a great 100-hour game. You know, so like either way, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. How do you guys feel about free play, being forced into free play with randos? And like somebody else had a question. This is from Indy, I think. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, especially because like it'll also kick you into other parts of the game sometimes. Or like that, I don't know if that was just a networking thing, but like I think they went into a dungeon, so I got teleported to the dungeon, and I'm like, I just wanted to do world events, and that was really odd with randos.
You set it? I don't think you can do it in the demo, but I'm pretty sure in the live game you'll be able to set your own expedition to private.
Oh, that's good.
It is. Well, when I was doing it before, I think for some reason for free play, it will force you to go back to public. I'm not too sure. I think maybe because they want to create that experience where you meet people. But no, I do agree. It would have been nice to have private stuff. But yeah, and to touch on what you were saying, Destin, like that was slightly annoying. There were a couple of times where we were out like in free play, and I wasn't even that far away from my friends. Like, you know, I'd probably be like 100 yards, but the game seems to think that I was too far away, so it's like we're going to pull you there, and then it would have been quicker for me to fly to them than to go through a loading screen to get to them. So I'm like,
it's like
and
not that far away. Yeah.
And I imagine with the way that they handle difficulty, like if you're just by yourself and then two people queue into you, that prompts the game to bump up the enemy density to balance it with how many people are in that instance. I'm not sure if it works exactly like that, but if you're by yourself, just exploring, two people matchmake into you, but they're somewhere else, the game might bump up the enemy density because there's 3 people in the instance, even though you're by yourself. I'm not 100% sure if it works like that, but that would be a worry of mine. Until
Free Titans drop in.
Yeah, it's like you just be roaming around, and then all of a sudden, just like, oh, the spot that normally has 4 guys here, now there's 17 of them. Wasn't ready for that.
Dr. Smurf left a $2 tip. Thank you so much, sir. It says, it looks worth $60, but I don't think it looks like it's worth 1,500 hours. I've seen some issues with enemies just disappearing, which is infuriating. Was trying to kill a big free play boss. Yeah, that actually brings up a good point about failing a mission due to, well, you don't fail it. You still complete the mission, like the strongholds, but then like if there's any sort of bug where you hit the 95% load screen or anything, you don't get your loot rewards, you don't get your XP rewards, and you got to rerun the whole story mission or rerun the whole stronghold again to get those drops.
Yeah,
I found that incredibly frustrating. What about you guys? Did you experience that?
Yeah, a few times I was trying to gear up with one of my guys today, and like he was sort of, I think we run the stronghold back to back about 4 or 5 times, and like in all that time, he only once got through and finally got some loot. So like that is. Although there's a strange thing that I noticed the other day because I swapped from. I'm not sure whether it saved some stuff because like when I unlocked my Colossus, obviously I moved over to Colossus, and then like I went back on my range the other day, and then when I was in a mission, I already had a backpack full of loot. So I think to a certain degree, like it sometimes saves what you were holding. So if you can then complete an activity, it didn't seem to work for the stronghold, but like I had basically had like I'd literally gone to free roam for 2 minutes, and I came back and I already had a full backpack of stuff because it was the last time I used it. So I'm not sure how that system works exactly, but there's something in place for that.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one from Tisk Tisk. We're going to go about 10 more minutes on questions, and then I'll let these guys go so that they can get about their day. Tisk Tisk says, do you know when they will introduce leaderboards, or if they will introduce leaderboards or speedruns into their content? I don't know, but that would
I've been
be
asking Bungie the same thing for 4 years.
Right?
I have no idea. I would like that. I have no idea. I don't think they've said much about it.
That's like a small thing that would go a long way. Like, imagine if everybody went into the tyrant mine with a min-max mentality and just tried to speed run the shit out of that mission, and that they had their controllers ready for the swimming portions, and like they got through everything as fast as they possibly could. That would be really, really fun. I think that's an excellent suggestion. Are they going to do it?
If they could also plot a graph so we can see that in everyone's speedrun, there's a part in the middle of the tyrant mine where everyone gets lost for a second. It's like, yep, they're swimming. Even the speedrunners can't swim.
You know what's funny? The new Ori game actually does that. They show you can like chase ghosts like Super Meat Boy, and they sort of show off that sort of stuff. Let's see if we got any more here. Did you encounter any of the demo issues? Yes. Oh no, sorry. The specific question is, did you encounter any of the demos issues in the recent builds you played? It's not a fair comparison because of the environment. So
this was the demo, or the capture environments are very, very small, very refined, very particular things that are set up.
Yeah.
Whereas this is trying to be sent out to hundreds of thousands of people.
I'd say millions of people were probably trying to get into this one.
No, but and also we're like on a very, like, everyone has the same computer. Everyone's running with like really maxed out, computer builds and all that.
2080 Ti's, max.
Yeah, and like the computers literally only have Anthem and Shadow Play on them, and that's it. So there's like a lot of variables that they can account for at those events that they can't account for when actually shipping the game.
I gotta say this: the 2080 Ti seems to be the card to use for this game. So if you got $1,500 laying around,
wow, the most expensive graphics card is the best one.
Yeah,
who would have seen that one coming?
Yeah, my 1080, or it's actually an old Titan X from IGN. It's like not even getting 60 at high. It's like hovering around like 57. So that could be because I stream on the same rig, though. I should just try it offline and see what kind of frames that I'm getting. But
because I've got a 1080 Ti and I've been running smooth. But I mean, I've literally just been offline, just playing it. Oh, well, online, but you know what I mean. So.
Did you check your frame counter and make sure you're holding at 60, or are you above that? I'm just curious.
I haven't got the number on screen, but it seems to, like, for me, I haven't I haven't really seen any visible frame drops. It seems to be running smooth.
You at Ultra?
I'm on whatever the default is, which I believe was Ultra when I logged in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. I think
for that card,
the first time I ever checked my video settings, I was on Ultra everything.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, it looks real nice, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're gonna adjust that later on too. They said they're optimizing right now, so hopefully they keep optimizing. Console at 30. Hopefully a lot. Console at 30. It looks great on Xbox One X. I'll say that. I didn't get a chance to play on the PS4 Pro, but yeah, I mean, that's all I'll say about that.
How was it on PS4 regular?
PS4 regular was actually okay. I ended up with some rubber banding issues near the end of my Interceptor run. And I think my triangle button actually got stuck on my controller from pressing only triangle on the Interceptor once I got it. So I was like, yeah, this build seems a little boring. It's cool. Like, you're a cool ninja guy, right? But you're doing one thing, basically. You do your throwing stars or whatever, and then you're just in there punching the shit out of everything.
It's because it's so strong. It like stun locks the enemies, and it does so much damage that like you'd be dumb not to use it.
What else we got here? We got time for a few more. Let's see if we got any. What do you think about rare loot dropping for your other Javelin more than your main Javelin that you were playing? Kind of used to it from Destiny for me, like D1 days. Yeah,
I have been told that more often than not, you will get items for your specific Javelin that you are playing, like overwhelming majority of the time. I think if you're starting to see a lot of drops for other javelins that you might just have a ton of stuff already on the javelin that you currently are playing, and so the game's like, all right, well, you already have like a bunch of this, so we might as well try to give you some other stuff. But you should, like, that could have been a symptom of the demo.
Yeah.
But you should, the overwhelming majority of the time, get stuff for your javelin.
Yeah,
Definitely. Let's see. Do we just what was I going to talk about? I actually really like how the loot drops function in this game, and how you get duplicates of the same weapon with random rolls on it. So you can kind of compare to, like, you're level 10, you're probably going to dismantle by the time you're level 15, but you can look at them side by side and look at their passive stats, and then you can sort of keep running that mission to chase that roll. It would be really interesting if they had mission specific loot. Monster Hunter does that, right, Eric's?
Yeah. I mean, it's more tied to the monster specifically, so it's more like, but obviously you can still go to that mission to fight that monster.
Have I said your name correctly for the majority of the show?
You have.
All right. I learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take one more, then we'll call it. I see a lot of questions. Do you guys think this game will have enough depth with all the systems and enemies to compete with Destiny and Division 2, or is it too simple? That's from Savage.
I don't think it's too simple.
Yeah.
Destiny is simple.
Yeah.
Destiny is a simple game because you are very limited by you can't min max your subclass. You get 3 options. That's it. There's no picking individual things. Division I haven't played in a while. I'll let you talk about that, Eric. But I would say Anthem is more complex in the gearing aspect than Destiny is.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly that point. I mean, yeah, there's definitely, like, yeah, if Destiny's on the super simple spectrum and, like, Division with all the min-maxing was up there, like, yeah, Anthem is definitely more towards that side. It's got a lot of, like, build options. Obviously in the demo, we only had 2 component slots, so your components are kind of, you can almost ignore them if you wanted to. But, like, in the actual full game, like, a full suite of components, Factory and Masterworks have all their bonuses there. There's a lot of potential for some, like, really nice synergized builds. But the problem is, beyond that point, we still don't know. So it's too early to say. Like, quite frankly, like, we don't know whether there will be the content to keep playing. Like, there's definitely going to be the build diversity and the reason and the desire to make builds, but whether there'll be stuff to use those builds in, we still don't know. I hope so. I really hope so, because I genuinely really enjoy this game and I love playing it. So I really hope there's a reason. So yeah,
it's sort of it's why the reason I'm worried about this is because of how I ended up stopping playing Monster Hunter. It just, like, I had a weapon that I really liked using, and I was good at it. Granted, I was very new to the game, but I got all the items that I wanted, and I killed all the dudes that I wanted to kill, and I didn't really have any motivation to go, like, do I really want to go learn all these other weapons? I'm just going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Like, is there going to be enough to keep me interested, but beyond just, like, well, I already have this build that I really like, and it's really, really good. Do I want to try something else? What I have is good, and I like this. So that for me is going to be the main motivator, is what's going to keep me playing the game.
Yeah.
What's going to keep me here?
Yeah, for the most part, I don't think it's because we're streamers or we're content creators or anything, but I got a lot of time in the beta, and the people that got in, they're like, this feels really, really fun. I saw a lot of positive feedback to kind of balance out all the negative feedback that a lot of people were saying they experienced. The people who got in, I saw a lot of positivity, and that was really, really refreshing for me. Did you guys see the same? Yeah.
I mean, largely speaking, like, I mean, anyone that I've spoken to that has actually, I mean, I've been spoken to people, a lot of people that I know that have had trouble with. They've been like, yeah, it's been a bit frustrating, but, like, the time that I've had has been fun. So I think, yeah, if you get a chance to actually go hands-on, I think there's no denying, it is fun to play. Yeah, sure, there's a few things, here and there that you could say, I hope this gets improved, but the overall experience is a positive one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I was actually surprised at how positive the feedback has been with regards to the gameplay. Like, I've asked a bunch of my, math class clan mates and all that, and everyone's like, I really like it. I like the gameplay and this and that, but they all end up having the same worries. Is like, this might be a 3-week game for me, and then I'm out, right? And I think, unfortunately, we literally just need to wait until it's out to come to that conclusion, which is, like, again, bring up Destiny. Same issue with Destiny 2, right? Everything starts out great, and then we get to the end game and falls apart.
Yeah.
We need to wait. So, you know, people have asked, is it worth my money? Is it worth this? Is it worth that? Should I go buy it? If you're apprehensive right now, stay apprehensive and let people go in and play it and tear it apart. And we'll tell you if, you know, or maybe you'll just see on our channels. Like if you stop seeing Eric's posting Anthem videos 3 weeks in, then maybe you know he's probably done.
Yeah.
Right? So same with
Yeah.
me, right? If I'm done 2.5 weeks in, then, you know.
My philosophy is, you
I
know,
will tell.
working it over at IGN, a lot of people like criticize our reviews often. We do our best, but if you don't align with IGN reviews, take a panel, like check out Datto, check out Eric's, and see where they're coming out with it. And usually somewhere in the middle is sort of a good barometer for how people are feeling about the game, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just my advice. Exactly what Datto said. Wait, see, and then make your purchasing decision at that point.
Yeah.
That's all I really had for questions. Just a reminder, this is available immediately over at twitch.tv/the Destin channel for anybody who is a subscriber, and it'll be available 1 day later for everybody else. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for joining me on the show again this week. For you, Eric, and Datto, for you stopping by and hanging out. Dantix couldn't be here today. He did send a little audio thing. I couldn't figure out how to get into the show, but he plans to be back, and Dantix is also having a good time playing. I almost said The Division. Anthem. Good time playing Anthem. Anyway, I'll be signing off for a little bit, and then I'll be back playing the Thick Boy because I want to get a little bit more hand. I want to try out that coil build.
Do it. Lightning coil. Don't confuse it.
Yeah, lightning coil, flamethrower.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? The flamethrower?
Yeah.
Yeah, flamethrower.
Got it. All right, guys.
Spread those shields off. It's so good.
Thanks, guys. I'll be back in a little bit. See you soon. And my mic's still on. Bye, everybody.